Welcome to this session on developing the resource management plan or the RMP. In this video, we'll explore the purpose of the RMP, how it contributes to the successful management of project resources, how resource allocation tools, techniques, and outputs that helps to implement the plan effectively. We'll also discuss the key components of the RMP and how they align with the overall project objectives. To remind ourselves with what exactly is a resource management plan. So the resource management plan or the RMP is a critical project document that defines how resources will be managed, utilized throughout the project lifecycle. It ensures that the right resources are available at the right time and used efficiently. And the RMP also help minimizes the resources related risks like shortages or overallocation. It also ensures that the resource management aligns with the project objectives and goals. And to see or to have an idea about the key ITTOs involved when planning the resource management, it starts with the inputs as usual with the project charter, the project management plan, the OPAs, the EFFs. The tools and techniques is being used here, which including the expert judgment, the data representation, organization theory, and meetings. And the output here would be the resource management plan, which we say that it outlines how will the resources will be identified, acquired, and monitored and controlled during the project life cycle. Also, there is an important output here, which is called the team charter. To recall the purpose and the importance of the RMP in terms of ensuring the project success, so we say the purpose of resource management plan is to provide a structured approach for managing all types of resources, including human and non-human, let's say, resources, including the materials and equipment, throughout the project lifecycle. It ensures that the resources demand are balanced with available supply, supports better decision making, and it helps preventing conflicts related to resource allocation. In turn, this improves the efficiency of the project execution and minimizes the downtime time and keeps the project on track. There are several important key tools and techniques when doing the resource allocation, starting with the, let's say, resource leveling. So resource leveling is a technique used to adjust the project schedule, ensuring that the resources are not overburned or overallocated. Might expect a question or two on the PMP exam on these key concepts, which considered when doing the resource planning management. So consider again, let's say that the resource leveling is one of these tools and technique when doing the resource allocation. Okay, so resource leveling is one of these techniques that is used to adjust the project schedule, ensuring that the resources are not overburned or overallocated. The next technique here we have is resource smoothing. Resource smoothing aims to optimize the resource allocation without affecting the project overall timeline. The next tool here we have is the expert judgment. Expert judgment is an valuable tool where experienced professionals guide the decision on resource allocation. Additionally, scheduling tools like Gantt charts and project management software to help you visualizing the resource allocation across different project tasks. So these are the key tools that can be used when doing resource allocation. Now let's look into the components of the RMP or the resource management plan. The resource management plan consists of several key components, including the roles and responsibilities, which clearly define who will perform specific tasks on the project. The next key component here you have is the resource requirement, which specifies the types and quantities of resources both human and non human, which is needed to achieve the project objectives. And think in a task level. If you recall that when we developed our WBS, we said that we have identified activities, we assign the time, cost to each of these activities. Think of adding the resources to each of these activities within the WBS. Also, you have the resource calendar. So, a resource calendar is a detailed calendar showing when the resources will be required and when their availability, helping to prevent the shortages or over allocations. A key component here, which is also considered as one of the output here, which is including the resource calendar that we already have covered, you have the staffing management plan, and that will outline the strategy for acquiring, developing, and managing the project team, ensuring that the right people are in place for the job. How you will ensure aligning the RMP with the project objectives. So, to ensure the success, the resource management plan must align with your overall project objectives. And the resource plan should support the key project components, such as the project schedule, the budget, and the scope. For example, if the project timeline changes, the RMP should also be adjusted to reflect the new resource needs. In case if you added any, let's say, changes to the scope, you need also to account for the resources that needed to counter for this change that you have made in the scope. As the project conditions evolve, the RMP should be updated to keep the resources aligned with the project goals and deliverables. Let's have now a look on the best practices when developing a resource management plan. Here are the few best practices for developing an effective resource management plan, including involving the stakeholders. So, ensure engaging the project stakeholders early in the planning processes and ensures that the resources requirements are aligned with their expectations. Also, you may like leverage the historical data from the previous let's say projects. Also, the lessons learned. So you may use the data and lessons learned from previous project to make informed resource decisions. Also, you need to review and update regularly. So the RMP should be living document that is reviewed and updated as the project conditions evolve. You need also to document constraints and risks. So identifying and documenting any resources or resource constraints or potential risks early will help mitigating challenges later. And to summarize our session on developing the resource management plan, so we say that it's an important and it's vital document for ensuring the efficient and effective use of resources in your project. It helps aligning the resource allocation with your project objectives, schedule, and budget, ensuring an optimal outcomes. By leveraging resource allocation tools and techniques and adhering to the best practices, you can ensure that your project has the right resources at the right time, driving overall project success.